Neuralink and the End of Thought Privacy. Welcome back, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author. Privacy, as we've known it, is already dying. But what happens when even your thoughts are no longer safe? Not your phone history, not your emails, not your biometrics. Your actual, internal, unspoken thoughts. Observable, recorded, interpreted, and potentially intercepted. That's not a future scenario. That's the direction we're moving toward right now. At the center of this shift is Neuralink, the brain-machine interface company founded by Elon Musk. But this isn't about one company. Neuralink is simply the most public face of a global race to digitize the brain. Across research institutions, defense contractors, biotech startups, and government labs, the objective is the same. Break the final barrier between mind and machine. Once that barrier falls, thought becomes data. And once it's data, it can be stored, monitored, analyzed, and controlled. Neuralink's stated mission is to create devices that can help people with neurological conditions, paralysis, ALS, memory loss. But that's the launch point, not the finish line. The end goal is full integration. High bandwidth communication between the brain and external systems, including other brains. In this model, typing becomes obsolete. Speech becomes unnecessary. You think, and it happens. You imagine, and it transmits. That transmission is called brain-to-brain communication. The idea is that two or more individuals with neural interfaces can send information directly between their minds, bypassing language entirely. No speaking, no writing, no facial expression, just raw, direct thought. And that's where privacy ends. Because in order to transmit your thoughts, the device must first read them. Which means, at minimum, your brain activity is being monitored in real time. Which neurons are firing, which memories are lighting up, which intentions are forming. The more precise the interface, the more granular the data. And eventually, there is no such thing as a private thought, only unread or untransmitted ones. Supporters of this technology will tell you that consent is built in, that nothing leaves your mind unless you allow it. But that assumes a level of personal control that doesn't exist in most people, even now in the digital age. Consider how much information people already give up without realizing it. Passive location tracking, microphone access, predictive search. The same culture that scrolls through terms of service without reading will adapt to neural permissions just as passively. And that opens the door to something more dangerous than surveillance, self-censorship at the level of thought. Because if you know your thoughts are being recorded, you will start to think differently. Not just speak differently, not just behave differently, but actually alter your internal processing. You'll suppress impulses, police your imagination, hesitate before forming opinions. You won't feel safe thinking freely. And when your own mind becomes hostile territory, identity itself begins to fracture. This is not an exaggeration. It's a documented phenomenon. In countries where speech is heavily monitored, people internalize control mechanisms. They avoid certain ideas, not just publicly, but privately. Now apply that to a world where the state, your employer, or your AI assistant can interpret your brain signals. Where intention becomes evidence. Where thoughts are admissible data. Some researchers already claim to detect lies, desires, even risk behavior through fMRI patterns and EEG readings. Combine that with real-time brain-computer interface technology, and you don't just lose privacy, you lose autonomy. Thought becomes currency, or worse, crime. But the implications go deeper than surveillance. Once thoughts are digitized, they're also editable. That means not only can your thoughts be read, they can be rewritten. Memory manipulation is already being explored through optogenetics and targeted neural stimulation. Scientists can alter emotional associations tied to specific events. In animal trials, they've even been able to erase memories or implant false ones. Once the brain becomes a writable device, the line between perception and programming disappears. Imagine thinking a thought and not knowing if it was yours. That's the real endgame of Neuralink-style systems. Not just communication, not just accessibility, but reprogramming. The ability to optimize human behavior from the inside out. And if history has taught us anything, it's this. Every tool that can be used to free people can also be used to control them. In this context, brain-to-brain communication becomes less about connection and more about compression. Language, with all its nuance, delay, and ambiguity, is being replaced by pure signal. But in removing ambiguity, you also remove mystery. You remove the unspoken layers of emotion, intuition, and metaphor. What's transmitted is not conversation, it's command. And without the buffer of language, there's no room for disagreement, no space to negotiate, no delay to reconsider. Thought flows too fast. And once the channel is open, who decides what flows through? Even now, people struggle to filter what they post online. The idea that we'll all perfectly control what we transmit directly from our brains is a fantasy. There will be leaks, there will be intrusions, there will be manipulation. And once that occurs, the defense of, "I didn't mean to say that," no longer applies. Because you didn't say it. You thought it. And that alone will be enough. The death of thought privacy means the death of the inner world. It means no sanctuary inside your own mind, no safe space to process pain, no mental rehearsal, no secret fears, no imagination that doesn't generate a trail of data. It means your dreams are accessible, your fantasies are categorized, your spiritual moments are recorded, your reactions, before you even understand them, are already known by someone else. This has implications not just for individuals, but for human consciousness as a whole. Our species evolved to think in layers, to form identity through a mixture of remembered experience, imagined possibility, and internal narration. All of that happens in privacy. Take that privacy away, and the mind adapts, but not for the better. It becomes performative, predictable, politicized. You start thinking in ways that match the system's expectations. And if enough people do that, the species itself changes, not through evolution, but through conditioning, through compliance disguised as convenience. What's coming isn't a dystopian sci-fi future. It's a bureaucratic transition. It'll look harmless, helpful, streamlined. You'll see interfaces marketed as medical miracles, relationship tools, learning accelerators, wellness aids, mental health devices, and in many cases, they'll work. That's how adoption happens. Not through force, but through function. People will ask, why wouldn't I want to think faster? Why wouldn't I want to communicate instantly? Why wouldn't I want to share everything if it makes me more efficient? The answer, of course, is simple. Because the moment you allow your thoughts to be digitized, you allow them to be interpreted. And once interpreted, they can be used by governments, corporations, algorithms, or other minds more powerful than your own. This is the end of thought privacy, and with it, the end of one of the most fundamental human freedoms, the freedom to think in secret, to imagine without judgment, to explore an idea before it's expressed, to confess to yourself before you confess to anyone else. Once that's gone, what remains is not a human mind, but a terminal, a node in a network, still capable of processing, but no longer capable of being alone. And without aloneness, there can be no truth. Only transmission, only noise. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.